I said I was going to do it. There it is.
Yeah.
Council.
Woo!
Welcome to the Wrestling Council. I'm your host, Comic Book Bob. Joined as always by my good man, joined very lately by my good friend Hollywood Frank.
I made it. HW, baby.
You got here, man.
Here in his house.
Yep. We are, you can catch us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about all news and wrestling. You can also check us out on social media, crawling below. And this is gonna be an interesting one. This is our wrap up of the year 2023. Yeah. This is our best and worst of 2023. Just waiting on Johnny to see if Johnny shows up. Justin said he might drop in as well. Sweet. Just to end the year right. But before that, let's go ahead and take a look at everybody who's here first. And Mountain just said, "Sup, people? I'm here. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Same to you, brother.
Je Noël et bonne année."
Yep. Before, actually, he said,
well,
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
And Big Day said, "Hey, yo."
What?
Hey, yo.
Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. I said, starting up. Hicksville said, "Sup?" Mountain just said, "Bob doing the swerve tonight?" Yeah. doing it badly. But yeah, I'll do that. I don't know, man. We'll get through a couple of our, when we get to our worst, when we get to one of our worst of categories, then I'll do it, because this is probably going to be the worst thing you guys have ever seen. But I'll do it. I have no freaking shame. But Courtney said, "Merry Christmas." What's up, Christmas? Christmas. What's up, Courtney? Merry Christmas, you guys all. Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a good one. We had a great one. Frank joined my family this year for Christmas dinner.
Yeah, and, baby.
Blew his friggin' socks off.
Good. So good.
Prime rib and lobster tail, baby. That's how we do it. That's how we do it at the Comic Book Bob house. But it was a good time, man. It was took a little bit longer for them to get it on the table than we wanted to, but when they did, we didn't notice. Good Lord. We walked out of there. We needed a wheelbarrow to push our friggin' guts out when we got done. Yeah, but
no dessert last night.
Oh my God. My mother and my sister, they bake like crazy. They made over 12,000. No, 1,200. 12,000 would be a bakery. They made over 1,200 cookies.
Don't forget your niece, Ashley. She was in there too.
Yeah. Ashley. They made over 1,200 cookies. And my sister just chimes at the end. She's like, "Yeah, I've got a whole sheet of baklava at the house." I'm like, my God.
And your niece was still going to make shortbread cookies.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, they were mad because they weren't able to make more. So yeah, wow, yeah, that's one way to put it. It was ridiculous, man. But no, yeah, it was good. It was fun. We always have a very intimate family Christmas, and Frank was part of it this year. So that was awesome. And we'll do it again next year if we have to.
Dad got a nice comfy chair for Christmas.
Yep. Pop's got a new easy chair to help him get in, take it easy for in his old age, and we're gonna need a lot of milk. Oh my God, dude! I can't tell you what, man. My diabetes was going crazy that night, and I was being selective. So, but all right, man. Let's go ahead and get into this, man. Our top. We're going top 3 for most of this stuff, but before we do that, we've got our favorite little segment, little something that we like to call good, the bad, and the ugly. It is an odd numbered.
It is an
So
odd
it
number.
is your turn, sir.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah.
The good continues to be the Continental Classic.
It's been good.
Who the winner's going to be? Who knows? We'll find out. What, 4 days?
Yeah.
It's the 30th. This Saturday, right?
Yes, Saturday is the 30th. So we'll know. Yeah, we'll know. We'll know who won the gold bracket tomorrow, and then we'll know who won the blue bracket on Saturday.
And that's the best thing. I mean, I just don't want Moxley. I really don't.
I don't even.
I know him and Jericho have been the face of the company, but you need fresh blood. Really do.
Yeah, and Swerve's on the rise.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not Swerve or Danielson, then I really don't know. I mean, what they're doing if you're going to put one of the other guys over, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Moxley doesn't need it at all.
No, in this tournament was made for Danielson. I've been saying all along that I thought my prediction was going to be Swerve versus Danielson. And that Danielson was going to come out on top of this because this tournament was made for him because he couldn't go to the G1, and this is his last year of being a full-time performer.
Yeah, and what's crazy is you have new women's tag team champions, and it wasn't because of injury.
Oh my God. Dude, I'm telling you what, those women's tag belts are cursed.
They are. The bad diverticulitis for Mr. Kenny Omega. So the golden lovers, whatever they are. I don't know what. Have they made a decision with? I noticed that Jericho is going to have a mystery partner, whoever that is going to be on Saturday. We'll see. But the injury bug keeps hopping up.
There's a rumor that it's going to be Ibushi.
It would make sense.
Yeah,
it really would. But you hate to see Kenny out. I mean, because he said the last time that if he gets injured again, he's done. So I don't know.
This is a little different though. This was an illness.
But Brock Lesnar had it before. I can't remember how long he was out.
He was out. Remember, he had really acute. Like the doctor said that Kenny should recover from this, within like a month or so, with the right treatment and everything. With Brock, it got real bad. He had to have like 8 inches of his intestine removed, or something like that. Yeah, it was bad. Matacita said it feels like they're building for Kingston win with Brian bragging about him beating him all the time. Plus World End of the New York show. Yeah, and the other, like I said, I would like it to be Swerve versus Bryan Danielson because I think that's like the match of matches right there, coming out of everything. I get the feeling though it's going to be either Moxley Danielson, or it's going to be Eddie. It's going to be Eddie Moxley. You know what I mean? Because they've had that. Because they were laying that groundwork for a long time, where Moxley was like kind of playing the tweener between Kingston and Claudio and his issues with the BCC, and then it all just kind of exploded. So this feels like they could be trying to wrap it up. I personally would rather it was Swerve. Really, like Swerve versus Danielson. At this point, I don't know, man. Tony may be trying to just pull whatever rabbit out of his hat to get whatever the ratings are. So
yeah, I know. And then my ugly is really. I mean, you've done a great job with Toni Storm with her gimmick. Maybe you want to see it. I don't want to see Tony Storm versus Riho. Riho.
Dude, man, I'll tell you what though, Riho puts butts in seats. It doesn't particularly appeal to me, but hey, man, yeah, and it was a pop and a half.
Yeah, I just it does nothing for me. Riho,
yeah, it doesn't for me either. But
and Tony Storm. I mean, you're.
I like the Tony Storm character.
Oh, I love the Tony Storm character. She's awesome.
That match is just kind of like, all right. So, but then, hey, we did say one of the things Tony needs to do is get back to what AEW was doing differently than everybody else. And one of the things that they were doing is they were showcasing Joshi wrestlers. Okay. And there's a lot of people that like that stuff. Okay. I don't like it or hate it. I do think that there are some really, really talented women in Japanese promotions, especially like Julia. Like, I think she might be the best women's wrestler today.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a niche thing. So
yeah. I'm not overly excited with World's End this Saturday.
I'm hoping that we get some traction on that going forward, man. But yeah, as far as the pay-per-view is concerned, and I understand that Kenny being hurt is a big part of it. They need to do something to like really turn up the heat on that pay-per-view.
I mean, it could be really done with that and with the whole devil angle.
Yeah, that, you know what, they need to just pull the trigger on that and be done with it. At this point, it's gonna land flat no matter what they do. They've gone too long with it, and I guarantee you their original plans for it have been completely destroyed.
Oh yeah.
So with Adam's injury, but we'll see. I'm not rooting for it to fail. So my GBU, my good Hiroshi Tanahashi takes over as president of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Dude, I'm excited, man. This is a guy who from day one wanted to work with other companies. He's all about doing new things in New Japan. New Japan has been stagnant for a couple of years now. I love New Japan. They got some great wrestlers. They put on great matches, but the product has been pretty stagnant for for at least 2 years. And something needed to change. So when they announced that Tanahashi was taking over, dude, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see where he goes with this.
What do you think that goes with them in AEW?
He loves the AEW. He loves AEW. Tanahashi, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some like back in, remember when they first started really collaborating with each other, you had titles crossing back and forth. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that again. Tanahashi is 1,000% behind working with AEW and other companies too. Like MLW just had that big, like this year. That's why I said Cesar is, like, in my personal opinion, he's up there for Booker showrunner of the year. Cesar Duran, he signed a bunch of people. He got that New Japan deal going through, some cool stuff. So I'm really excited about that. The bad, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I saw the clip. Aaron Dean Heisenberg is the actor that was tapped to play Ric Flair in the Iron Claw, and the one glaring criticism that is coming out of this movie, the one that everybody is like, no matter whether you're a fan or you're not, or you're a wrestling fan or you're just a casual person, everybody knows who Ric Flair is. Whoever cast this dude to play Ric Flair, they made a terrible mistake. To be fair, though, how do you cast Ric Flair? You know, I can't think of an actor off the top of my head that'd be able to play Ric Flair. Like it's just, it ain't gonna happen, man. But this dude was like this dude. You could tell this dude. Not only does this guy, does he not look like Ric Flair? He doesn't talk like Ric Flair. This dude's never even watched a Ric Flair promo. Not even once, man. Because the way he came off in this was awful. This is awful, man. Yeah, I'm going to see it this week sometime. But yeah, I watched that clip and I just, dude, it was made of cringe. It was so bad. It was so bad.
I mean, I know he's played a different role in Iron Claw, but if you would have turned MJF platinum blonde, do you think he could have pulled off Ric Flair?
He can pull off the swagger. He could definitely pull off the wrestling. He doesn't have, I don't think he doesn't have the build because he's a lot more cut than Ric Flair is. He doesn't have the voice, man. It's the two most important things you got to get with if you're gonna mimic Ric Flair. You got to get the voice down. You got to get the mannerisms down. You know, like you look at what Jay Lethal did. Yeah, dude, they should have hired Jay Lethal to be the acting coach for this dude to teach him how to be Ric Flair. Because there wasn't any of the enunciations. There wasn't any of the swagger. There wasn't any of the dialogue. None of it came through, man. So I hear the movie's awesome. And I'm really excited to see it. But I saw that clip, man. I was just like, God damn, this is bad. This is the Marvel's bad. But yeah, that's my bad. And the ugly. Oh my God, man. So a lot of you probably saw it I was hoping to God that, we would, over the Christmas weekend, we would not get any BS drama in the internet wrestling community, the IWC. But my God, man, Chris Jericho and Jim Cornette just decided, like, you know what, hold my beer. We're going to start some shit. And once again, it's all about Brawl Out, CM Punk, and Ace Steel, because Stephen P. New, who's really good friends with Jim Cornette, who represents a lot of wrestlers and a lot of lawsuits. He was quoted. He and Ace Steel were both quoted as saying that everybody involved at the Brawl Out signed an NDA, and that's the reason why no one's talking about anything. Chris Jericho chimes in and says, I didn't sign one. And so then him and Stephen P. New start going at it. And then Jim Cornette started coming in. And Jim Cornette does what Jim Cornette does, man. He just went scorched to anybody that's connected to AEW, man, and he'll go scorched earth on them. So yeah, it was kind of pathetic, to be honest, from both sides of this thing. So can't even escape it in the holidays, man.
Nope.
But that's my GBU. Matosito had a good, he's at Garcia finally goes over the bad. Miz can no longer challenge for the IC title. Well, he can't challenge for it as long as Gunther has it. Once Gunther drops it, Miz can challenge for the IC title again. The ugly CJ Perry's infection. Yeah, I didn't really look into it, but I understand it was pretty nasty. It wasn't. It was something in her finger. Her finger got infected or something.
Her finger got infected and it spread up her arm into her elbow and stuff.
Yeah,
and was like
no. Infections are nothing to mess with, guys. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
You don't want to get pieces chopped off.
Malacia said it was a good movie. Saw it with my brother, and I was glad he was with me. Cool. Do you know what MJ? Did you know that MJF pulled off some Steiner math? Yeah, I heard about that. I haven't looked into it, but I heard about it. But all right, we got a lot to get into, though, man. That's our GBU. Yeah, dude, dude. Like I had an infection in my like my foot was so bad I almost lost my foot. So had to the infection was so bad that it got into the bone of my foot and turned it to mush. So infections are nothing to screw around with, guys. But all right, man. GB, we were going into doing our best of. We're gonna do a couple best of, and then we'll do a worst of, and then I'll do the freaking dance. Okay. So we'll start with an easy one. Best pay-per-view. So I got my top 3. I'll say, I'll go over my top 3, and then if you if there's one that you disagree with, or if you want to inject one of yours in here, we'll go over that. Number 3, Wrestle Kingdom 17. Wrestle Kingdom 17 gave us, in my opinion, the best match of the year. Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. And there were amazing matches across the board, man. You had Kazuchika Okada versus Jay White. You had the first ever IWGP Women's Championship, Tam Nakano versus Kairi Sane, where Tam took the belt off of Kairi. You had Leo Rush and Yo versus TJP and Francesco Akira, which TJP and Francesco Akira are one of the best lightweight tag teams I've ever seen. But it's that main event, man. It's Will Ospreay, who was the US/UK champion at the time, versus Kenny Omega. Dude, holy shit. That match was beyond crazy, man. That match, and more than anything, I think that match is where the seeds of Will Ospreay leaving New Japan and signing with AEW began. It began there, and it culminated at All In. So that's number 3. Real quick, Big Daddy said, my good was the Wrestling Council. My bad is the MJF Cole bromance. My ugly was the entire women's division in AEW. Yeah, there's a couple of ones in there. Yeah, we'll talk on that a little bit. But what do you think, man? You watched Wrestle Kingdom after I did, right?
Bits and pieces. I mean, you're the more of the New Japan guy than I am.
Yeah, but you saw that match, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, seriously, that match is literally, it's contender for match of the year for me. So, and like I said, there were so many ramifications coming out of that pay-per-view that led to all these other things happening. It led to, it led to the big match at All In, where I think Will Ospreay made up his mind that night. I think that's where he made up his mind. It led to Jay White signing with AEW. It led to Juice Robinson signing with AEW. We had all of these things come. These are two of the biggest signings of the year came out of that pay-per-view. Plus, just banger match after banger match, man. And the biggest of them all was Omega versus Ospreay.
Yep.
So that right there, for me, that was the number 3 pay-per-view. WrestleMania for number 2 for me, WrestleMania Night 1. We'll talk about why Night 2 a little bit later, but this is the match where we had a tag team match for the first time that headlined WrestleMania, headline Night 1. Which was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. And the pop they got was crazy. We also had Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
Where Rhea Ripley took the belt off of Charlotte, and she's had it ever since. Rhea Ripley finally got the friggin' run that she deserved and turned her into in my opinion, the biggest female star of 2023. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic, which was, very emotional. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, which was a match that was way better than it had any reason to be. And Austin Theory versus John Cena, which could have been a big deal if they had pulled the trigger on Austin Theory, but I think that match is kind of what killed it. But what really, for me, it's the women's match, and it's that tag match, man, Usos versus Owens and Zayn. I think that's what pushed it, the main event will often decide whether or not, in a lot of people's minds, and mine included, whether or not a pay-per-view is good or not. And that main event was fantastic. So, you agree? You disagree? You got a different opinion, or?
No, I'll let you do your 3, 2, 1, and
okay.
then.
And then my number one is All In, AEW All In. I think of all the pay-per-views out this year, I think that one had the biggest impact of on the industry and on the business. I mean, obviously you had, he had MJ. Just look at the match list: MJF versus Adam Cole, CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. Aussie Open versus MJF and Adam Cole, which at that time, that storyline between those two was like one of the biggest things, biggest thing in the wrestling. The tag match, FTR versus the Young Bucks. The rubber match. And then, of course, you had Ospreay versus Jericho, which was a fantastic match. So then you had the Golden Elite versus Bullet Club Gold. So, but just the ramifications coming out of that, like I said, I think that night when Will Ospreay walked out and close to 75,000 British wrestling fans who've been starved for wrestling over there, because the British wrestling scene is just not doing well. And that's one of Ospreay's big things, is he really wants to build that back up. And I guarantee you, he's talking to Tony Khan about that right now. Him walking out and then having Wembley Stadium just freaking explode. I think that's what did it for him. And I can't think of another show, good or bad, that had larger ramifications for the wrestling industry than that show. Even more so than WrestleMania. And that's saying a lot. So those are my three.
Let's see. My number 3 would be Revolution, when they had Danielson versus MJF in the Iron Man match.
That's a good one. Yeah. That's actually one of the matches I put on my match of the year.
Yeah. And to go in overtime to finish that out, it doesn't happen very often, which I'm glad it doesn't, but Iron Man matches are it takes a lot for both of them to be able to go through that for an hour plus.
Yeah, and to keep people interested.
Yeah.
In a match that long, that's a testament. And that right there, I really felt like one of the things that we always said about MJF is that as far as his work in the ring, he was decent, but it didn't seem like he was really great. He got in once he became the champ, and once he started vying for the championship and he became the champ, that changed. It became, I want to be that guy that can just take a match and just elevate it.
Yeah.
And I think him working with guys like Brad, like this match, I think was a big deal. This was him working with one of the best, the absolute best. And it was, it was equal parts, listening to what Bryan Danielson told him when that match was going on. Because if you know anything about that match, it was basically he was leading it, but being able to respond in a way that lived up to what they were trying to do. Yeah. I think that really sent MJF's stock through the ceiling.
Yeah. You get a chance to work with an absolute, call him a legend like Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
Guy knows what he's doing, and I hope he never leaves AEW.
No, I really, I don't think Bryan Danielson's leaving, and I don't think MJF is leaving in 2024 either.
Yeah, and forget you, Eric Bischoff saying, "Oh yeah,
he's definitely going."
Yeah, get out of here. Next for me, number 2 would be WrestleMania, like you said.
Night 1.
The Usos losing to Sammy and Kevin was
huge.
It just blew the roof off of night 1. It's just, you knew it was going to happen, but irregardless, I mean,
you thought it was going to happen, but it's like, you gotta remember, Usos held on to them tag belts for a long time, man.
Yeah.
And it was kind of that same situation where this is what should happen, but is it what's gonna happen? So when it happened, man, people were, and there were some great finishes, some false finishes in that match. So
and then number one would be Forbidden Door 2023 from Wembley Stadium. Where do we go? You had MJF versus Tanahashi. You had CM Punk versus Kojima. Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre. Zack Sabre, Shibata, and Garcia. Ospreay versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that was
Ospreay Bryan Danielson versus Okada. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, you had great storyline moments with like Sonata versus Jungle Boy, which led to him turning heel. You know, whether you like Jungle Boy or not.
Who's that?
You know? Yeah,
I haven't seen him.
Then you had Blackpool Combat Club versus
the Elite.
Man. Which it was Adam Page, Matt and Nick Jackson, Eddie, and then Eddie and Tomohiro Ishii. That was like, dude, any match that Ishii's in is going to be friggin' dope. So, and then like you said, you had Omega versus Ospreay too, which was awesome. Then you had Darby Allin, Sting, and Naito versus Jericho, Suzuki, and Guevara. But the match, and even though he got injured, man, friggin' Danielson versus Okada was fantastic up until like even after he got injured.
Oh yeah.
You know, because people like it. We thought he was just selling, but the reality was he was actually hurt. That's how friggin' good Bryan Danielson is. So, and then here in a couple of weeks, we're gonna get match 2 of that at Wrestle Kingdom. So I can't friggin' wait for that. So that's not a bad. Those aren't bad choices, man. But what do you guys think? What was your pay-per-views of the year, guys? Tell us in the chat there. Okay. So best pay-per-view. How about biggest story in wrestling this year? So for me being a New Japan guy, here at the end of the year, finding out Hiroshi Tanahashi has been named the new president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, that's massive. That's a big deal going forward. However, as big a deal as it is, to me, that's only that's like number 3. Number 2, and these things, I think there's my number 2 and my number 1. I think there's going to be a lot of contention. So my number 2 is CM Punk is fired from AEW and hired and returns to WWE. The whole CM Punk saga, I think, has been next to the what I think is the number 1 story in professional wrestling. That this has been it. This is what everybody's been talking about. It's what everybody's been arguing about. It's it's having long-lasting ramifications for both companies. Whether you love him or you hate him, man, the dude is news. And I think we're gonna feel the fallout from all of this for at least another year. So huge story. But the number 1 story, in my personal opinion, has got to be Vincent Kennedy McMahon selling the WWE to the Endeavor Group. That has to be the number 1 story in professional wrestling. Literally, the guy that we thought would hold on to the reins of power in that company until he was 6 feet under. They'd have to pry it out of his cold, dead hands. Comes back after being somewhat disgraced and literally sells the company right out from under everybody. Just never. I would never have thought I never thought it would happen. Never thought it would happen. And yet it did. Yeah. And that's where we find ourselves now. We find ourselves in a post Vince McMahon WWE. And the evidence is in how the company's doing and how it's being run and how and who's being pushed and how. So it took a while. Even after the sale, Vince tried to hang on to it. and try to hang on to control. But Endeavor, little by little, they kind of pried his fingers off. And yeah, but that has like to me, those are the three biggest stories in professional wrestling this year. What do you think, man?
Again, you're a New Japan guy, so you know more about that than I do.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's CM Punk getting fired is number 3.
You think that's number 3? Okay.
Him getting fired. Well, again, I'm not a New Japan guy. Him getting fired, like, for what we heard, him attacking Tony Khan or going after Tony Khan backstage and getting fired was the biggest news for the year. Then number 2, the same CM Punk showing up at the end of Survivor Series.
So you're splitting it into 2. Okay. I can see that.
Because at that point, there was rumor, speculation, he might be there, he might do this, he might not. Is he going to do what's going to happen? Boom. He's shows up.
Hell froze over.
Nobody expected it. And the number 1 is got to be McMahon, no longer the owner of WWE.
I think anybody who's been a wrestling fan who has any knowledge at all of wrestling, the fact that he came back and he was serious about selling the company and actually did pull the trigger, that was like I don't think any of us ever thought that was ever going to happen. I literally thought he would go out owning that friggin' company, man. Wouldn't care if he had to run it into the ground. He was going on. It's his, and he was going to make sure it stayed his forever. But we were wrong.
Yeah.
But
make sure you give me a category to go 3, 2, 1 before you.
Okay, yeah. We'll do. So we did the best pay-per-view. We did the biggest story. You want to do one of the worst ones next?
No, if you got to do that, you got to do your Prince Nana.
I know. How about why don't we do best tag team?
Best tag team?
Yeah. You go first.
Best, again, taking New Japan out of this because this guy will probably throw somebody in there from New Japan that he knows better than I do. The best tag teams of the year. Until they split them up, it was 3 was beat for me with Sammy and KO.
Okay. I can see that.
Just the penultimate with them winning the tag straps at WrestleMania. Getting back together because those guys have been together forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
whether
they're together or doing singles actions, those guys have been with each other like Copeland and Christian have.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, just Adam and Christian are like brothers. I mean, KO and Sammy are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to change your name to Prince.
I'm doing it in anticipation.
Number 2 would be they haven't been on TV as often, but it's tough. Man, what do I do? I'll go with Gin and Juice.
Bullet Club Gold.
Bullet Club Gold, baby. Those guys deserve a chance with the titles. They really do.
I'm actually very surprised that they didn't take them off of FTR. In that match they had.
Yeah, and then probably the best tag team out there right now would be a trio, that would be House of Black.
Ooh, okay. Changing it up a little bit. All right. House of Black. I ain't mad at that, dude. I mean, like I said, like you know, those guys have been put on banger matches. So
I would have said FTR, but they haven't been around that much this year. Well,
they kind of, I think they kind of took their foot off the gas for them a little bit to give them time to heal up and also to kind of push other people.
You could have gone Judgment Day, but I don't know where that whole thing's going. I'm not really sold on that. But House of Black, trios, champions. I'm glad Ricky Starks got a major title too.
Yeah.
But House of Black, I mean, trios, whatever. I mean, it's just like the New Day. I mean, those guys, the House of Black, deserve everything they've got so far, and I would like to see Buddy Matthews with a singles title run at some point.
Yeah, I want to see. I would like to see. I'd like to see House of Black with the tag titles, like Buddy and Brody King. I'd like to see them with the tag titles. I definitely want to see Malachi in a singles run, man. That guy needs to be in some kind of, like, put him in put the IC title, the the international title on him. You know,
or put the international title on Buddy and put the other two with the tag titles.
Something, yeah. That's a group that I really think.
Yeah, I agree with.
They're too talented. It's just not using the way they have.
I agree with Leg Kick. Matthews should beat Orange Cassidy. He should beat Pockets.
Should murder Orange Cassidy, dude. Buddy Matthews, man. That, like, when we go back to like when Collision first started, man, that match between Andrade and Buddy Matthews. Holy shit, that match was amazing. That was actually one of my contenders for match of the year. So
yeah, but that's my 3-2-1.
Okay.
Zane Owens, Gin and Juice, and House of Black.
Okay. My best tag teams. For me, obviously they got derailed a little bit because of an injury, but Aussie Open. Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. Those two guys, man, those guys are awesome. As a tag team, they're great. Kyle Fletcher's, he's one of those guys. He's young, up and coming, dude. He's doing, he's right now he's hooked up with Don Callis and whatnot. And talented guy. But those guys as a tag team, man. Those guys are. I'll put them up against damn near anybody, man. I really want to see. I think they had one match against FTR. I want to see like a series of matches between them and FTR. I want to see them against the Bucks. I want to see them against the Lucha Brothers. Like, I want to see them against everybody. Aussie Open, I think, is like they're one of the tag teams of the future. So, like I said, unfortunately, Mark Davis is out with an injury right now. He comes back though. I really want to see. I'd like to see them get a push. My number 2, I agree with you, man. Bullet Club Gold. Juice Robinson, Jay White. I really was disappointed that when they did not take the belts off of FTR. I felt like that was the perfect moment. In a 2 out of 3 falls match like that. That 2 out of 3 falls match was fantastic. Okay, that was so good. And right then and there, man, they could have made Juice and Jay White, and I really feel like that could have like really propelled them a little. And not that they're being, they're not being, kicked to the side or anything like that. They're not being jobbers or anything. But Juice Robinson is he's just too good, man. He's too good. That guy needs to have gold around his waist now. Juice is one of those guys that, and Jay White is, dude, what can you say about Jay White? My personal opinion, he's the best heel in the business right now. So Von Erichs versus FTR. Dude, I'll tell you what, I'm desperately hoping that Von Erichs sign with AEW. I would love to see that. But them versus FTR would be cool.
Yes.
But my number 1, same as it was last year, FTR. You look at the matches that they had at the beginning of the like obviously this last 3 or 4 months they haven't really been pushed out there all that much. They're just kind of taking a little bit of time off. Like I said, I think they're kind of focuses on other people to kind of boost them up a little bit. But when you go back and you look at the matches that they had, man, like I said, that match between them and Bullet Club Gold was freaking amazing, dude. My God, dude, that's one of the best. That's one of the best matches I've ever seen on TV. So, and we've seen some good. I mean, there's been some good shit, man. That rubber match they had with the Young Bucks at All In, that was fantastic. They're as far as I'm concerned, man, they're the bar right now. And everybody, it's you want to measure up, you got to measure up to them. So that's my 3 for the best tag team. Okay, you ready?
Let's do this.
Oh my God, should I do it before or after?
After.
All right, after. All right. So worst pay-per-view. I'll let you go first on that one too.
Oh, Jesus. Worst pay-per-view.
I agree, leg kick.
Wow.
This first one, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that one probably needs to be number 1, but go ahead.
Shit. God, I didn't think about worst pay-per-views.
You want me to give you mine and then you can agree or disagree?
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. NWA Sam Hain. The infamous cocaine angle. That submarine the entire show. And NWA CW contract. I don't know, dude. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I like Billy Corgan. I really do. I love Smashing Pumpkins. But I want to know. I want to be a fly on the wall when someone pitches this idea, and he goes, "Great," because
that's some good shit.
This was probably the worst decision. This has got to be hands down the worst decision of any general manager / owner / booker in professional wrestling all this year. Has to be the absolute worst. This thing, like I said, it not only killed everybody's enthusiasm for the show, it killed. NWA had a contract that they were in the middle of finalizing to finally get on a decent television channel and push that product up with the CW, and this thing crashed and burned that shit to the ground. So, yeah, NWA Sam Hain, 100% the worst angle of all the 2023. So, number 2. Now, here's the thing. My criteria for this show, because the 2 shows I'm going to talk about, my number 2 and number 1, they had really good matches on the show, but they were undercut by matches or angles that were just so freaking stupid or bad that this is why this is why they're on my list. So, number 2 of the worst pay-per-views of 2023, SummerSlam 2023, for 2 really important reasons. Now, like I said, SummerSlam had a couple of really, really good matches on them. Cody versus Brock Lesnar is one that pops into mind. Seth versus Finn Balor was pretty damn good. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre should have been better than it was, but it was a pretty good match. Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Look, whether you love him or you hate the guy, they put on a hell of a match. So it had good matches on the show, but it also had 2 of the worst freaking matches of the entire goddamn year. The first one, Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey. This match was dog shit. And it was dog shit because fake MMA is awful. It's awful. Either have them fight a real goddamn fight or do a wrestling match. It's freaking stupid. This match was the drizzling shits. It was awful. It's absolutely awful. And then Roman versus Jey. Roman versus Jey Uso was, dude, it was Roman trying to do the exact same thing he's done to every other person, but the style of the match it didn't fit, and it just fell flat on its face. And this is the moment when you realized the Bloodline storyline had jumped shark. At this point, everything was going to be downhill from there. For me personally, I was already like done with the Bloodline when Cody didn't win the title off of Roman at WrestleMania. This match was like, okay, this is 100% definitely, it's peaked, and now it's just going to be downhill from here. So SummerSlam 2023 for me. And then number one, and again, there were great matches on the show, but the finish will often decide how everything goes. WrestleMania Night 2. Cody versus Roman was the biggest letdown, the biggest misstep, the biggest problem, the worst possible decision WWE could have made all year long. They had a chance to turn Cody into the next uber star. They could have turned Cody into the new John Cena with this one match. That's how crazy, that's how invested people were. That's how crazy over he was. And I said it then, and I'll say it now. He will never be as hot and as over and as big of a deal as he was that night. And they completely blew it. They completely, totally, and utterly blew it, man. On a show that had great matches like Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Gunther, that 3-way for the IC title was great. Was it the Edge versus Finn was a really good match. It was the weakest show of the night. Obviously, like I said, there were decent matches on the show, but that friggin' finish killed it. It absolutely murdered the whole thing.
And then you had the whole thing with The Miz, Shane McMahon, and Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, yeah, that was awful.
Lord,
actually, I forgot about that. That wiped that from my memory. Yeah, that was bad, man. But yeah, like those three NWA Sami, just because of, and like I said, there were good matches on all these shows, but this one angle or there's just one or two angles or one or two matches just completely shit the bed. And so NWA Sam Hain, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania Night 2 for me. Legkick said wrestling has a huge problem with pulling the trigger on what the fans are into. Yeah. And also I feel like this was like the last hurrah of Vince, because Vince was still primarily in control at that time. And if they wait till SummerSlam, might as well close the book on his story. Nobody cares. Yeah. And it's like I said, fans will be happy. They'll be into it. They'll never be as invested as they were at that point. Okay. You guys ready?
Great. Oh, okay.
Oh, jeez, God. The Prince Nana dance. Let me get the music up here. Oh, God. There you go. I'm gonna do a better version of it. Actually, gonna put it on green screen. I'm gonna turn it into like a little clip. Yeah. The music didn't play. Shit.
Nope.
Oh man. And I went through the trouble of actually downloading that song. Son of a bitch. Oh, damn it.
No music.
Why didn't it?
I don't know, sir.
Damn it. I don't know. For some reason, it's not coming through, guys. I'm sorry. I tried. Do it again. Dude, come on, man. Don't make me do. Dude, I said I don't have any pride, but I do have a little bit. Oh, shit. Once more with feeling.
Yeah. My number one would have to be Payback. Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. Rey Mysterio beating Austin Theory. Rhea Ripley beating Raquel, and then Seth Rollins, for whatever reason, going up against Shinsuke as your
Seth
main
Rollins
event.
versus Shinsuke. Yeah, that match with Trish and
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch. God, my brain just took a crap there. That was drizzling shits. That was awful. Let me see here. Share your screen. I can't. Oh, damn it! It won't come in.
What?
It won't let me share the video, the audio for some reason. I'll have to figure it out, guys. Like I said, don't worry about that. I'm actually going to do it on green screen, and it'll be a little video clip that we can play, so you'll hear all of it. You watch me. You can revel in my shame. So, I'm sorry it didn't come through on the video, but you saw the video, and then maybe I'll clip the video and I'll put music to it and put it up as a short.
There you go.
It's god awful. Okay, let's get to some of the really good ones, man. Best male wrestler of the year. You want to take the lead on this one?
Do we want to do 3, 2, 1 or just
3, 2, 1? Yeah, this video this stream's gonna run a little long.
Okay. Best male wrestler of the year, Bryan Danielson, number 3. Just with his matches with the Iron Man match talked about earlier.
Yep. His
match with Zack Sabre Jr.
That match was so good.
Just what he's doing with the Continental Classic. I mean, it's his last year. You can't go wrong with Bryan Danielson at all. Not quite Sumo Shane Davis, all right. But Bryan Danielson, number 3 for me. Just the guy,
he is professional wrestling.
He is. It's like watching. Who would I have to say? It's like when I was younger, watching a guy like Dan Marino, John Elway, something like that. It's just, he's not Tom Brady. He'll never be the GOAT, but God damn, can Bryan Danielson put on the matches?
Yeah, one of the best technical wrestlers of all time.
Number 2 for me is Will Ospreay. I can't wait to see what this guy can do in 2024.
Oh man, put him on a bigger platform, able to wrestle anybody he wants. Holy shit!
With him versus Kenny Omega. You said what is it, Wrestle Kingdom, and
Wrestle
then
Kingdom 17.
at All In, or not All In, at Forbidden Door. Oh no, All In. I'm sorry, All In.
Yeah, that's right, All In.
But
no, All In. It was him versus Jericho. You're right. It's
right.
It was at
Forbidden Door. Yeah, and the guy is just phenomenal. I mean, you can't go wrong with Ospreay. And whether you like him or not, because I know Rob isn't happy with all of his gimmicks, but the guy has been out there and he's been doing more than Roman Reigns has in the last couple years, he's done more this year. Seth Rollins, to be able to have that title and to make it relevant because Roman Reigns isn't doing jack with his title.
Dude.
I give Seth Rollins all the credit in the world to being the man and helping put that title, make it more relevant than we thought it was going to be.
Dude, like I will never argue with you about Seth Rollins' ability when he's in the ring, man. He is one. And there's a lot of people that a lot of people compare him to Randy Orton nowadays, where they say that he feels like he's boring and everything. I don't think so. I think Rollins is one of the best in-ring workers in the business. You're right. I hate the friggin' the gimmick he's got right now. I'd rather he went back to a more serious character. And it does feel like that they're slowly gravitating him back there. It's just the things that break it down, that break him away from that for me is his character, and his intro song is dog shit. That it's not a song, but I can't deny he's over as hell, and he's one of the best. He's one of the best in the ring today. So, not a bad pick, man. Malicia said, Vikingo, Will Ospreay, and Bryan Danielson. That's not a bad list, man. Dude, Vikingo's one of those guys that, like, Will Ospreay needs to have a talk with him. Be like, listen, dude, you need to take the foot off the gas a little bit, and you'll have a much longer career, and you'll still be able to do all the crazy stuff you do, but you just got to, like, pace yourself a little bit. Because the thing with Vikingo, man, is that dude, he's another Darby Allin, man. He's a much more talented Darby Allin, in my personal opinion. He's gonna die if he keeps doing the shit he's doing. Not a bad pick though, man. It's seen as the bronze medal in the Special Olympics. That belt. Oh. Jay White, Samoa Leg Kick says Jay White, Samoa Joe, and Andrade. That's not bad picks either, man. Not bad picks at all. If we were doing a top 10, those would definitely be in my top 10. But for me, best male wrestler of the year, number 3 is Gunther. Dude, the matches that this dude is one of those guys. I've been saying it since he had that 3-way match between him and Drew McIntyre and Sheamus at WrestleMania. This guy needs to be in the world title scene. If there's going to be anybody that takes that belt off of Seth, it should be Gunther. And then let him have a nice long, like this guy. Look at what he's done for the IC title. For a long time, the IC title was just crap. And now I would say it's right up there with Seth's title. So I would love to see them do a la AEW, not a unification, but title versus title. Seth versus Gunther, and let Gunther take the belt, and let him be and just let him be the freaking man, dude. That guy he's a machine. I love the dude, and there is a lot, dude. There is so much freaking talent out there. That's one of the reasons why everyone talks about, like, oh, if AEW loses this person, or if WWE loses this person, they're screwed. They're done. No, they're not. Dude, it's just next guy up.
Yep.
I mean, you look at, like, if let's say by some miracle, MJF does leave AEW and he signs with WWE. Just stick Jay White in his spot and let that guy go. Jay White, in my personal opinion, when MJF was pure heel, they were both, there was number 1 and number 2. Those were those guys. So, yeah. But my number 3 is Gunther. My number 2, you said it, man, Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, one of the best technical wrestlers that's ever lived. In my personal opinion, he is the guy that exemplifies professional wrestling today. His match, like I said, that Iron Man match that he had with Max, that you talk about a way to put somebody over. That's how you put somebody over. That's how you help build a young guy up to the point where people start seeing him like crazy, like as one of the future guys. His match against Zack Sabre Jr. one of the best matches of the freaking year, dude. Loved that match to death. And the psychology of that match was so cool because it was like, we're trying to find who's the best wrestler. It's who's the best technical wrestler. Yep. And in the end, Bryan Danielson got the win, but he had to use a gimmick. He had to use tricks to do it. So that title, so they could. I want to see part 2 of that match series. And then number 1 for me is Will Ospreay. That guy, in my personal opinion, that guy is the future for AEW. Guys like him, guys like Swerve, Bryan Danielson. Like, I want to see Bryan Danielson with a title run before he's done, with a world title run before he's done. But as far as the future, man, I think the future is guys like Ospreay. It's guys like Swerve. And if Tony's smart, man, he will cultivate the shit out of those guys.
Yep. And
push them forward. See, Bryan Danielson versus Dean Malenko would have been fantastic. Yeah, that would have been pretty awesome, man. By the way, some good news. Dean Malenko had brain surgery this last couple of weeks, right? And came through it really well. So he had major surgery. So thoughts and prayers to Dean Malenko for a speedy recovery. Leg Kick says, I want to see Jacob Fatu go to AEW, put him in a few with Joe or team in with Joe. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. A team, him and Joe as a tag team, they would murder everybody. Big Daddy said, have a good night, gentlemen. Stay safe and happy New Year. You too, Big Daddy. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, for his Parkinson's. Yeah, he had surgery. People switched teams all the time back in the day. People forget that and became super tribalistic. Yeah, it's an unfortunate element of today's IRC, man. You can't get away from it. Swerve is really built up. Yeah, and they need to keep building him up, dude. That guy's so freaking good. But the new SST. Oh my God, dude. Can you imagine if Jacob Fatu went to signed with AEW, teamed up with Joe? And they came walking out to the Halloween theme song, like the old Samoan SWAT team used to. Dude, man, I would lose my shit. That'd be the best. That'd be the absolute best. But all right, so that's our best male wrestler. Well, let's just keep it going, man. You want to do best female wrestler?
Sure.
All right, I'll take the lead on this one. All right, so best female wrestler this year. Number 3 for me, obviously, you guys know me. I'm a New Japan guy. I'm a All Japan, all that. Number 3, Julia. If you have not watched this young woman progress over the last 3 or 4 years, you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. In my personal opinion, as far as her ability, she's one of those people. She's like the female Okada. Okay. She just has that presence. Like when Okada, literally almost nobody knew who Okada was when he showed up for the first Forbidden Door. The minute that dude walked out on stage, everybody was losing their shit. Remember when he came out at Forbidden Door for his match?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they lost it. They absolutely lost it because he's got that something. He's got that star power. Yeah. Julia's, and there's a reason why she is one of the top free agents going into 2024. WWE are really, really, really interested in her. Tony, supposedly Tony's not. I don't know why, because you add her to your female roster, and immediately you've got someone that can perform on a level that I don't think anybody else in their company can. She's that friggin' good. Maldacito said Julia, Starlight Kid, Sheeta. Starlight Kid's one. I think she needs like another year or two, but she's another up and comer, man. She is a little on the smaller side though. Julia and Sheeta would be an awesome women's tag team, like an awesome women's tag team. Julia versus Sheeta would be a great match. Yeah, dude, Julia versus pretty much anybody would be a great match. Mina Shirakawa. I can never pronounce her name. Yeah, she's another one that I think is she's you compare like comparing her to Julia though, man. Like Julia's, it's like when it comes to into Japanese wrestling right now, it's Julia and then it's everybody else. And wherever she goes, man, she's going to be a big deal in the women's division. So, number 2, Toni Storm, baby. You talk about taking a friggin' like Toni Storm got saddled with some pretty bad runs in AEW. Not necessarily because of the way it was booked or anything, but just because of bad luck. And when Jamie Hayter got hurt and they came out and they did that really bad angle where she took the belt off, that was just awful. It was, but this new character that she's doing right now, we said it before, say it again. AEW needed to do something big to get the women's division on track. This was the first thing this was the first step. A character like Toni Storm, push that character, let her work in the ring, push that character like you have, do more of this for the women's division. You need that pomp and circumstance to build this thing up. So that's where so that's why she's my number 2. And Julia versus Nia, so Nia Jax can put her on the freaking shelf. But the number 1 women's wrestler this year is got to be Rhea Ripley. She's had a freaking year and a half, man. She went from after they sacrificed her to freaking Charlotte last year, and she kind of languished around. She ended up joining Judgment Day, the angle with Dominic Mysterio, and then finally getting into that match with Charlotte and putting the belt on her and letting her have a real run with it this time. She's elevated the game there. She is absolutely right now when it comes to women's wrestling in WWE, it's Rhea and it's everybody else.
Yes.
So those are my 3. What do you got, brother?
Again, you know more about Julia than I do, seeing her wrestle. So, Julia Hart, number 3 for me.
Definitely the most improved.
Yeah, she's come a long way. The newly married Julia Hart. So, but the best thing for her was to be part of House of Black.
Yep. And get away from that. Yeah. Cheerleader gimmick, man. That was awful.
And to so young to be able to get so good and get a run with the title.
She's the same age. She's like 25, isn't she?
She's not that old. She's not even that old.
I'll have to take a look real quick for that. Yeah, she's young.
Yeah, she's in her early, maybe 21.
Yeah, she's 22. Oh, God,
22.
Shit.
Yeah,
jeez, man.
I mean, she's one of those you can build your company around. Like, you know, is she ever going to be built like freaking Raquel Gonzalez? No, I mean, but you don't need that. You can be
good character work.
Yeah, like Riho and the Bunny, and still get over with the right. She's with the right faction to help get her over. And and
I'll tell you what, people like when she teamed up with Sky Blue, man, people are all about them two being together.
Yeah, so Julia Hart would be my number 3. Number 2, just like you said, Toni Storm. I mean,
is she the best female character in the business right now? She has to be, man. Like she's right up there with Rhea, man.
I could have gone either way with 2 and 1. I mean, because number 1 is Rhea Ripley, so I could have gone Rhea 2 and Toni 1, or Toni 2 and Rhea 1. But the two of them are
for different reasons.
The best in each promotion. They're the best in AEW, the best in WWE.
Toni because of her character work, and Rhea just because she's freaking Rhea. Just putting on banger matches.
And again, Julia going to House of Black, best thing that could happen to her. Toni Storm breaking away from Saraya and
Outcasts.
Yeah, the Outcasts, best thing to happen for her.
Yep.
and it shows. I mean, you're giving Toni Storm the freedom to do what she wants.
She's getting TV time.
Yeah,
that tells you right there that the fans are into it, because they wouldn't be giving her TV time if the demographics weren't showing that that's what they wanted.
And it made Luther relevant again.
Oh my God. Dude, yeah, she's employing people that weren't doing shit. But yeah, and I feel like they need to take a look at that character in AEW, and they've got a couple of interesting storylines going right now. They need to take that character work and be like, okay, we need to apply this, and then now not over the top like that, but that level, that depth of creating a character.
And the whole mommy poppy thing with Rhea Ripley and Dominic, the whole Judgment Day period. I mean, she's
ruined it, man.
Elevated herself, to the level of a Charlotte. I mean,
agree.
You have Charlotte gone for the next 9 months, if not longer. I mean,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think anybody's gonna notice.
They're not. And Charlotte's not going to work because she just signed a new contract a couple months ago. But if Charlotte decides to hang it up and have a family with Andrade, you've got Rhea.
Yeah. You've
got Bianca. You've got Becky Lynch. You've got the talent there, which is something AEW desperately lacks.
Yeah, the AEW's got good talent right now, but WWE's got talent to build for the future. Because Rhea Ripley's really young too. She's in her 20s too. She's like 20. Yeah, she's 27, dude. She's 27 and she's already at the top of the heap. So it's only going to get bigger and better for her. But all right, so okay. We got 2 categories left. We've got best male wrestler. Oh, we did best male wrestler. We've got best match. The best match of the year. We have the worst match of the year. Let's do the worst match of the year first. I'll start this one off. Worst match of the year. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley at Elimination Chamber. Dude, the entire, for how many years were we desperately hoping to get Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley in the ring together?
A long time. And then when it finally happened, we got 3 matches with these dudes, and each one was worse than the next. And it wasn't bad because of the guys of their work. It's bad because of the freaking angles. We had one where Bobby just jumped him and took him out before the match even started. We had one where Lesnar basically just beat the shit out of Lashley, and then Lashley right at the very end rolls him up, and it was like, what the hell is this? We never got that. And then an Elimination Chamber was the absolute worst. It was only this match was so bad. It was only 4.5 minutes long. 4.5 minutes for a clash that we had been waiting for probably about a decade at that point. And it was just such a freaking letdown. This thing could have been so much more. This should have been 2 friggin' mastodons just beating the shit out of each other. That's what this match should have been. It should have been back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You got 2 guys who are built like friggin' tanks, who've got great athletic ability, even at their age, who are both MMA, like legit MMA guys. They're legit, a legit, a match between these 2 guys should have been like the closest thing ever. It should have been a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And instead, we just got dog shit. Yep. We got one progressively worse match than the next. And it's probably one of the biggest letdowns in the last decade. Number 2, Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre match. Okay, guys, I hate shit like this. Okay. Here's the thing. AEW is usually pretty good about their product placement and stuff like that. Their partnership promos and things like that. This was so freaking stupid. And I get it. I understand why they did it. It was meant to be a joke.
I mean, you literally had Leatherface out there freaking with a chain. This reminded me of the cringy shit that WCW used to do. Like when they had RoboCop come out and it was like, it wasn't a dude in a RoboCop. It's the real RoboCop. And then he bends the bars on the friggin' cage. Or when they had Chucky at Halloween Havoc. It was so cringe, guys. It was so freaking cringe. That's what this match was to me. This match just made me I was like, the people, and I get the people that like it, they like it because of it's like a popcorn friggin', they like it because it's bad. But this match, I was just like, really? Why are we even doing this? This is awful. So that was my number 2. And number 1, I talked about this earlier. Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler, SummerSlam. Fake MMA. This is my notes right here. Fake MMA sucks ass. That was last year, dude. This Texas Chainsaw Massacre match was on the same, in my mind, it was on the same level as that piece of shit. Where Miz got eaten by zombies. But yeah, my number 1, Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. This should have been, if they had done this as just a friggin' wrestling match, this could have been, and just let them go. This could have been a badass match, man. This could have been, Ronda handing the baton, passing the baton to Shayna Baszler and just put Shayna over and, do something cool with this match. And instead, we got a fake MMA fight, which I've said it, and fake MMA sucks. It's awful because it looks fake. Yeah, like what mental derangement comes up with this crap, dude? I don't know, man. It's the same kind of mentality where we get a movie where they take a character and they completely do something stupid with it, and they're like, "Why are we doing that? Because it's cool." Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like. It looks like bad sparring. It looks like, I'm gonna take you down now. And it was, oh God. That match, I literally got up. You know how I have that joke where like a certain match or a certain wrestler was like, well, it's time to go get up and take a shit. This match, I literally did get up and go take a piss because I'm like, this match sucks. I don't care about this match. 2 minutes into this match, I was like, this is some of the worst shit I've ever seen. So those are my 3 worst matches of the year.
All right. Number 3 for me would be from Backlash, Seth Rollins versus Almost. Like,
that was pretty bad.
Come on. Almost can't wrestle. Like, why are you putting this? Why are you putting this guy in a match?
But it's Vince saw like, look how big he is. He's so big.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Number 2 would be if you want to call it a match, you can. And I mentioned it before. It was The Miz, Shane McMahon, and Snoop Dogg from night 2 of WrestleMania. He actually got the pin. Snoop Dogg tried doing the people's elbow. Oh my God. And
freaking, the fact that he had to cover for Shane McMahon because of how badly he shit the bed. He blew out his quad? Yep,
just like his old man.
Yep. And then freaking and then Snoop Dogg was like, well, I'm high as hell. I might as well try something. I know I give the dude credit for trying to step up and save the shit, but yeah, man, it was pretty bad.
And then you mentioned it, number 1, Rousey versus Baszler in the MMA. What? Why?
I understand wanting to take advantage of their MMA background and everything, man. But good God,
not how you do it.
It's so bad. Just let them have a wrestling match and then throw a little bit more like punches and kicks and takedowns and stuff like that into it. Don't try to turn it into a friggin' fake MMA fight because it looks awful. But all right. Best match of the year, man. You want to take the lead on that? The big one, guys. This is what we think is the best match of the year.
Number 3. And because of outside interference from Don Callis, number 3 for me has to be Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega, Forbidden Door, or All In, whatever. All In, I mean.
Without the interference, it's higher.
Without the interference from Callis, it would have been probably number 1 for me. But these guys don't need outside interference. Let them go. You saw it the previous time these two guys went at it.
Yeah.
They put on a banger match. You don't need Callis or anybody coming down there. Let the story and the ring play out with just those two guys.
Yeah, I would have preferred that. It didn't take away too much. I mean, obviously, the second match, I didn't think it was as good as the first match.
No.
But yeah, man, I that's one of my biggest problems with New Japan is the amount of cheating that is allowed to go on. So, I got you.
And I second for me, number 2 is the Bang Bang Gang, Gin and Juice versus FTR.
That's goddamn that match, dude. That match was so good. That was like one of those Tony Khan TV gifts, man, where it's like this is a match that should have taken place on a freaking pay-per-view, but he put it on regular television and he gave him the time to run with it. And
I want to see that again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, have to. Like I said, I wanted Bullet Club to take the belts. So that we could get that match again, you know, and like I said, taking nothing away from Ricky Starks and Big Bill, dude. Big Bill might be the biggest. Big Bill's career might be the biggest comeback of all time, man. Considering the shit that happened to that dude and how low he got with drug addiction and everything.
Yeah,
and to come back and now he's part of he's tag team champions with one of the biggest rising stars in AEW. That's a big deal, but man, I wanted that feud between FTR and Bullet Club Gold to keep going.
Yeah. And
that match was that match was good.
And it's not taking anything away from the Briscoes versus FTR.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, I was thinking about putting that last match that they had on here, but I just don't feel like it's, after what happened and everything, I just don't feel like it's right.
And to go back to the previous thing, that lights out match, Mountain Dew lights out match with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight,
that almost made my list of the worst.
But my number 1 match of the year, Wrestle Dream, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson. Two of the most technical wrestlers today going at it. Like that made the card right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a match that people have been waiting for like 15 years.
Yeah, it should have happened previous year at the first Forbidden Door, and it didn't because Danielson was hurt.
Yeah.
But you got those two guys, and would I love to see Zack Sabre and Bryan Danielson go at it again? Sure.
Hell yeah. They've got to, man, because like I said, that whole match was supposed to see who was the best technical wrestler. And even though Bryan Danielson won, he didn't use a technical wrestling move to do it. He used a beatdown.
Yep.
So, yeah, dude. And Andre, dude, the first 5 shows for Collision were that show was the best wrestling show on television, hands down, bar none. And one of the best, and in my personal opinion, had the best announcing team. That's one of the biggest issues I have with Collision now is that Kevin Kelly is no longer the lead commentator on Collision, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I like Tony Schiavone. There's no reason that dude is. There's no reason Kevin Kelly should be playing second fiddle to him, though.
Honorable mentions of the Iron Man match with Brian and MJF, Brian Danielson and MJF, and Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page.
Dude, I'm not those kind of bloody matches, like matches that are that bloody and whatnot. They're not my cup of tea. But man, I'm gonna tell you what. Outside of the blood and like some of the stuff they did with it, which is unnecessary, that was a fantastic match.
Yeah,
fantastic, and definitely showed people what Swerve was capable of.
But that's my 3-2-1.
Gotcha. All right, my 3-2-1. Number 3. It's the Iron Man match, brother. MJF versus Bryan Danielson. 60-minute Iron Man match at AEW Revolution. Like I said, you want to put somebody over, this is how you do it. MJF, who everybody already liked, but like I said, as far as his work in the ring, was often said people thought he was mid or whatnot. After this match, nobody's saying that shit. Nobody's saying that shit at all. And God bless Bryan Danielson for taking this guy, this young guy, and showing him how to do it. And like I said, man, this match was awesome. It was freaking awesome. And the fact that I had to struggle not putting this at number 1 shows you just how good the wrestling has been this year. Like, say what you want about storylines, say what you want about, company politics, what have you. The wrestling matches we've gotten this year have been amazing. They've been fan-freaking-tastic. And this one right here, like I said, all 3 of my matches for 3-2-1 were very, very, very close. So number 2, July 25th, AEW Collision, FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, 2 out of 3 falls. Guys, you're gonna get sick and tired of us talking about this, but God damn it, you gotta go. If you haven't seen this match, you need to go watch it. It is this is tag team wrestling at its absolute best. Absolute best. You got old school style guys in FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dex Harwood. You got new guy. You got the new style, the new attitude. Juice Robinson. Dude, Juice Robinson might be the fact. Him and Tony Storm might be the 2 best characters in professional wrestling. Juice Robinson is just like a maniac, just going off constantly. And, it does not shock me the level of creativity that these people have. Juice Robinson's always been a crazy creative guy.
The husband and wife bouncing off each other.
That's what I'm telling you, man. But Juice Robinson might be the best male character in professional wrestling. Jay White, in my personal opinion, is underutilized and under-recognized as one of the best heels in the business, if not the best heel in the business, in my personal opinion. Jay White is awesome. And then, like I said, FTR, best tag team in the world, in my opinion. So, yeah, this match was so freaking good, dude. And like I said, I'm not mad that they didn't take the belts off FTR, but I would have done it. And I think that was the moment to do it because it would have been huge.
Yeah.
And then number 2, I'm going to cheat here a little bit. I had a 2-way tie.
Ooh. That's right.
It's a 2-way tie for me. I literally sat here and I'm honest to God, I sat here and I kept thinking about it. And for different reasons, these 2 matches, in my personal opinion, are just the best. They're the best. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, Wrestle Kingdom 17. That first match, that first one, dude, this was so good. This was so freaking good, man. And it's the reason why these are the kind of matches that make Wrestle Kingdom special. That's why Wrestle Kingdom Wrestle Kingdom is the pay-per-view that I'm always waiting for, man. Because I know that we're going to get some absolutely crazy shit. And this match showcased the guy who, Kenny Omega, who kind of like set the bar in New Japan for a long, long time, versus the guy that I personally think is the best professional wrestler working in the business today, in Will Ospreay. And without Omega, Ospreay doesn't become Will Ospreay because Omega kind of showed him how to do it.
Yep.
That match. So that's my the co number one. The other co number one, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson. That's a match, dude. How many times did I talk like before it was supposed to happen at Forbidden Door? As soon as Bryan Danielson signed with AEW, we all talked about what matches do we want to see. I want to see Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Because I remember the match that they had when they were in Ring of Honor, and that match freaking slapped, dude. It was so freaking good. How about the matches announced in Japan? Sanada versus Naito and Okada versus Danielson too. Oh yeah, dude. Freaking Wrestle Kingdom is going to be dope as shit. I'm stoked as hell. But this match, man, Zack Sabre, we gotta get part 2. We have to get part 2. It has to happen. And honest to God, I get the feeling that come Forbidden Door, we might get it. We might get it because Danielson has said that Zack Sabre Jr. is one of his favorite people to be in the ring with. You know, the two of them are like, they're just, when it comes to technical wrestling, man, they might be number 1 and number 2. Ibushi is going to be at Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom this year is going to be dope as shit. It's going to be crazy. But, and just the back and forth of that match. That match was sometimes people are like, well, there were no surprises in the match. I didn't care that there were no surprises in that match because that match was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was technical move versus technical move, counter versus counter, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it was the guy, Bryan Danielson, who is the methodical, he's the machine, he's methodical. Yep. And Zack Sabre Jr., who is the master of counters, the midair counters and all that. The match was everything I wanted it to be. Everything I wanted it to be. So, like I said, I kind of cheated a little bit. So there you go. That's those are my best matches of the year. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom 17. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson. It was so freaking good, man. But okay, that's everything. So there is one thing I want to ask you.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask, and this is a big deal because it's and the only reason I'm going to add this onto the list is because I noticed when I put the thing up about best of, this is something that everybody's been talking about. It best booker / showrunner of the year. Me personally, even though I don't get to watch MLW as much as I would like to, my 3-2-1 for best booker / showrunner. Number 3 would be Cesar Duran from MLW. In just the last few months, like the last 5 or 6 months, this guy has signed people like Matt Riddle, Sami Callihan, Timothy Thatcher. MLW is a very, very small. It's a very small company, but he's able to get names like that. Okay. On top of that, he secured a working relationship with New Japan and Bushiroad to bring in both their male and female wrestlers into MLW, which is going to elevate MLW. Okay. Those are power moves, man. And then also, he's got talent over there that he's done amazing matches with. Hammerstone's finishing up with them. I fully expect Hammerstone to either go to the WWE, maybe AEW, maybe Impact. I think he's an NXT guy. I think he's heading to NXT. But Cesar Duran would be number 3. Number 2 for me would be Shawn Michaels, dude. After the debacle that happened where they turned NXT into just dog shit, Shawn has managed to not just get them back to where they were, but kind of break new ground and move into some different places. Because that's like I watched an interview with William Regal, and he was talking about how when he got let go. Just before he got let go, they had their show Take Over Portland. And he literally, everyone's standing around there, both the talent and the people in charge, him, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, they all said, this is it. This is as good as this product's going to get. This is as good as we can possibly get. And we actually, back during the Wednesday Night Wars with the old gang, we often said, like AEW was the better show, but NXT would have the better wrestling. So that's how good NXT was at that time. They were neck and neck with the new product. But when everything kind of crashed and burned, when Hunter got ill, and then Vince and his guys came in and they kind of shit the bed, turning the place into like a tie-dyed, looked like something fell out of David Bodie's asshole.
Right.
To correct that, and then now go with the product that they have now, which NXT now is light years better than it was when Vince and his cronies came in there and like took a crap on everything. So to be able to turn it around like that, I think is a really impressive thing. And I think so. I think Michaels deserves that. But number one, dude, it's got to be friggin' Hunter.
Yep.
The way he's taken, like you go back a year and a half, WWE was what the majority of their product was the drizzly shits.
Yep.
They had amazing talent. They had arguably the best roster in the world, and they were putting on some of the worst matches, some of the worst angles, people being forced into characters that were just god awful and cringe, dude. Freaking Karrion Kross was a freaking gimp gladiator. It was just half the wrestlers were being treated like jokes. And then Hunter comes in, and in a year and a half, he not only puts them on par as far as storytelling and matches and match quality, puts them on par with AEW, any other company that puts match quality first, but storyline wise and just building interest and keeping people interested outside of pushing the Bloodline story too long. Hunter's been killing it, man. There have been, obviously there's always going to be an area, one or two areas here, but like we were talking about, like one of the worst matches that you said for the year was Seth versus Omos. Yeah. Where's Omos now? He's nowhere. Because Hunter looked at the product, looked at the reaction, said, this isn't working. And instead of trying to force it down people's throat, like is what Vince did, he's actually trying to build a friggin' product that people want to see. So in my personal opinion, those three guys, those guys are the best. And like, I know there's a lot of people that are going to say, well, Tony Khan, Tony has made more mistakes this year than he has in any other previous year. And I think a big part of it is that he's kind of sort of turning into Vince. He's pushing angles and things that aren't necessarily what people want to see. And he's missing out on like the direction that people want these matches and whatnot to go in. They're not going in the same direction like they used to before. And that's one of the things I think Tony needs to do. He needs to get off his high horse and he starts listening to what people want, because sometimes like perverting expectations isn't the way to go.
Right.
Yeah, AOP with Paul Ellering teaming with the Cross. Dude, I'm 1,000% behind that. 1,000%. Turn them into a beast friggin' faction and just let Paul Ellering be the genius that guides them. But anyway, that's just something I wanted to touch on real quick, because I saw that that's the most contentious topic as far as the best of the years has been.
Yeah, I'd probably throw Scott D'Amore if he's the booker in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Up there,
he's done some good stuff, man. He's in, like there's guys in TNA. I love there's been some good matches in TNA.
Like
really
bringing in Trinity and actually honestly being in the ballpark trying to bring CM Punk over there.
Yeah, they made a serious play for him. But anyway, guys, appreciate everybody that's been here. Leg Kick, Maldacito, Big Daddy.
Next week we'll have to do our predictions for 2024.
Yeah. Yep. Is what? See next week. Yeah, because that'll be the 2nd, so that'll be the new year.
Yeah,
boy.
Woohoo!
So predictions for next year, and
so start thinking of some.
Yeah,
like I already got some.
I got a couple. I got a few, but the Leg Kick, Maldacito, Courtney. I know I'm missing people, but appreciate you guys being here, man. We had a lot of. Hope you had fun. And we will see you guys next week with our predictions for 2024.
Eric B. Jones.
Yep. Your buddy. Appreciate you guys being here. Take care, guys. Bye.